Thanks.
You guys got it all figured out for iPads then?
Yeah. We're gonna have to set up another one. No, fetch stuff, not payables. You're on the wrong one.
Oh, yeah.
You wanna call it?
Yeah, okay. Oops.
Your conversation is being recorded.
Can you say the time?
Yeah, give me half a second. Tuesday, May 13th, 6:30 p.m.
Budget workshop.
Budget.
Okay, so council's job is to go over the budget. I know previous was different, but I think last year we did a really good job with the way it worked out. I just want to make sure everybody understands where most of our funds come from. So most of our funds come from property taxes collected by Latah County. Our stuff that we get as fees goes to like the sewer, trash, stuff like that. So a lot of this money is coming from the property tax. And the first little bit shows our revenue, which we won't actually find that out till we get, for sure, till we get a little closer to the actual budget hearing in August. Because the county doesn't really they kind of take their time getting it to us. So I think we should probably go to administration, and I don't know if somebody else wants to go read the lines, or if you want me to read the lines, and then you guys talk about it. How do you guys want to do this?
I think you're fine.
Yeah, I think you running it would be great.
Okay.
You were on the council side of it last time, and we did carve 60,000 or 70,000 out.
Yeah, we did good.
Yeah, we did good.
There's some things that we will have to adjust back, but
Right.
that we carved too much.
Give the general fund to the attorneys, what you mean?
Well,
You guys gotta remember too, that you guys are making this budget for us to spend. So you guys really aren't saving the money. Me and Justin and Cheyenne are the ones that actually save the money for buying stuff that are cheaper cost looking around. You guys are just giving us a budget to work with.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys cut $70,000 out, that's just less that we have to spend if we need it.
Well, some of the stuff we did cut though was things that
Yeah.
we hadn't touched in years.
Yeah, which is fine, but you gotta remember that if you're cutting stuff, you gotta remember that's our budget to be what we need.
Well, and I think last year, Mark brought up a point about asking you and Justin for a wish list, so.
Yeah.
So please make sure and keep that in mind of things that.
Yeah, tonight is just a,
Yeah.
Kind of getting things going, but as we move forward, we want to know your guys' input and things that, you see that we might need.
And we raised the budget for most maintenance and still saved that money, so that was
Yeah.
like, we dodged it.
yeah, I think our
Yeah.
biggest cuts were on some of the things, like you said, that we weren't using or hadn't been touched.
And we didn't even know what some of them were.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know salaries, I think is gonna change because we're gonna be down to one, clerk treasurer. So we'll wanna look at kind of what that looks like, and I know that, but we're also going to be, I think, I don't know if we'll have to talk about like a cost of living raise and some other things, but she does, the way the budget works out is it's separated 4 ways. So you'll see salaries and administration and all of the pieces of the budget. So do we any thoughts on salaries, or do we wanna go for some of the easier low-hanging fruit to start
I
with?
personally wouldn't touch salaries right now. I would wait till later,
Okay,
if you even think you need to.
so let's jump down to legal fees. So we budgeted, well, and that's the same way with legal fees, is because I believe it's throughout all of them as well, right? Wendy, Mark, do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think legal fees, so what we did this year, what we've done in previous years is it shows the 2024 budget, the 25 budget, and then it gives us a nice line item so that if we want to make changes. So on the legal fees, out of administration, we've already used $33.75. So we do have lots of legal fees going on right now.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have to, I don't think we have to make them even. We can make them even throughout each area. So what is everybody's thoughts on the legal
Well,
fees?
Hold on, I gotta figure out what we're doing here.
Is offered any, like, estimate on how quickly or what he projects? No.
So when's the start of the fiscal period for this?
October first.
October
Yep.
first, so we're 7 months in. Could we, if we're gonna increase it, do it like, kind of a ratio? Does that make sense? We use this much per month?
Well, and some of the, so I know we're gonna have, that, the ratio thing is a good idea to look at, cause that might make it a little easier. We are gonna be using, so some of the legal fees are gonna also be coming out of, anything sewer related will be coming out of the sewer funds for our project, which some of the stuff we've already had will come out, but we're also have other stuff going on. But yeah, so what would you figure the ratio, I'm a simple math, but when it comes to ratios, I kinda struggle a little bit.
So that's,
Well, before anyone gets too far in, I think we should pad the legal fees.
yeah.
Yeah,
I only wanna pad a couple things, one would be fire, we'll get to that, but some maintenance, firefighting, but legal fees are gonna have to get pretty high.
so what we can do is just throw out a number, say, like, go 7,000, which would add 2, and then we can look at the other ones, and then we can, cause we'll go
Well,
through
right.
this as far as we can until the meeting starts, and then we'll go again.
Our,
We'll go over this for the next couple months.
our current budget is 3375, not 5, that was last year's.
Oh, did we drop it?
Yeah, we dropped it.
So we've only used 1,500?
Because we didn't have issues last year.
Right, but we've only used,
Right.
we've only used 1,500? That doesn't seem right.
That's out of a piece of that.
Right,
Then
yeah.
it's out of all the other
It's
stuff.
spread
Well,
throughout.
And you also have other professional fees that could be accounted in the legal fees. So, and then you have it in four other pieces.
A good chunk of it could be, ordinance enforcement, which I think we all wanna see.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that is a fair amount.
Well, so I'm saying is
Right.
there's other, I wasn't like categorizing it in one thing when I said that.
So what are his standard monthly rate that we pay?
Hourly, right?
Well, yeah, last month was only 3,800, and this month we're over 6.
Well, I know, so
It
he's
just,
not charging us like just a standard monthly, like seventy hours?
No.
So it's by an hour.
yeah,
so
And then, I mean, like anything above and beyond is.
yeah, anything, yeah, he just, whatever he
No.
does, he charges us for, he doesn't charge us a flat fee. So like when looking at operations, it only shows 1,000. Which seems awful, so we're only at 43 so far.
Yeah, we've spent way more than that.
Oh, yeah, we spent way more than that last month. And this one
Let's see, right
is,
here on legal, yeah, under operations, you have that we've already spent 4304,
yeah,
so.
Is a new operation.
and
So
then the
where
next
we-
one's on page 10.
Where would you put code enforcement? Is that under operations or?
Well, all attorney fees can be, they just get divided out between all of our things. Code enforcement would probably come out of operations, because that's what we use to operate, or, see, there was the street, I don't think it'd be streets. I
It'd be
would say
public safety.
probably operations or administration, either one.
So just looking at legal fees for administration, we've used $33.75 over 7 months, that's about $500 a month. We have 5 months left over, that's 25. That's about $5,900
Need tabs.
for the entire year, which is over what we got budgeted. So we need to do, I was suggest doing over that,
Yeah,
maybe $6,000 or $7,000.
I'm gonna be higher. I think we should pad this, because we got a lot of cleaning up to do over the next, and a couple different meetings.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to go to like 10 or 12 or something like that, you can always drop it the next year. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going
Yeah.
down right now.
It ain't gonna get fixed in 1 year either.
No.
Thanks.
so do we wanna go on administration for legal fees, do we want to bump it to 10?
I think
10 or 10?
I think that's a good idea.
After hearing what Eric clerk said, I would say 10. I think a good suggestion.
My thing was a low ball, so,
Yeah,
which is gonna be over
but I mean, that's
But
that's
if we
at
don't use
least-
it, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and we do have other areas we can increase it there as well, other areas we can increase legal fees, but I think that that's a good start for that one. And then accounting fees, this is just normal stuff that because we don't have an accountant that we use every month, I think this is just like the,
Right, because
Hayden Ross,
under water fund, we haven't even used anything, we have it set for 7,500, so.
yeah. So we don't know what this year's bill will be a little higher, but I still think we're fine at that. Maybe even, I don't know, do you think we should lower it a little bit, or do you think we should leave it?
I mean, you're doing the water treatment plan, or wastewater plan, I think I would just leave it right now, just in case you need anything.
Okay. Other professional fees, just other miscellaneous stuff that, like if we have to have somebody come in for something, I'm assuming that's what that's for, right? I'm trying to remember everything from last year.
I don't remember.
Do you remember what the other professional fees was?
No, I don't.
But see, last year we used 1924, we had a budget of 2,000, we upped it to 3,000, and we've only used 1,050 out of this one.
So, I wonder, like professional fees for, I wonder if that would be like having the computer and the camera and stuff installed.
Probably.
So we're gonna wanna make sure, I mean, after, we're getting that done soon, like should be in by next month.
Right, so it won't be next year's budget.
But we're still gonna have, some other fees that go along with that.
But see, we have, this is where you guys need to use tabs. Tab your page 7 and tab your page 10. Because if you go back and look at that, if we're dividing everything out, and you go to your legal fees, on one page it's $1,000, and then on the other page it is 2,000.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have to, but I think it would be, I mean, it makes sense to kind of, my
Or
opinion.
other professional fees, sorry, I was on the wrong one, the other
Page?
professional fees. So page 2, page 7, and page 10.
I'm wondering if professional fees is like our membership to Idaho Water, our
Oh,
membership to Association of Idaho Cities,
that could
our
be,
membership to Big Line, like all of the associations that we subscribe to.
CETA.
CETA, yeah, those might be for admin. Is what I'm thinking.
okay.
Well, the biggest thing is we budgeted, I think you're right, we budgeted and we're within that budget, but we don't know for sure. I think we're in a safe space.
Well, and like, looking at all three of them, we're not over budget, on all three of them added together.
I got
So,
some
I mean,
stuff
if we
about
have, if
that
we are
thing
on
we
one
used to
section, we pull it up in another section,
Got
balance
about
it.
two handfuls of other shit that we.
Okay, we'll leave that
My
one alone.
personal opinion.
We good with leaving that alone? Okay.
Okay.
Printing and binding, we haven't used any of that yet. I think that's
So we got the keys for it.
just in case because there's some presentation stuff, but now that we have that, we shouldn't have to
I think we've run those.
do so much. So I think that
Oh, we have the keys for it.
we might even drop it or leave it.
Yeah, I know. And stole those too.
Okay. Oh, I skipped legal
Some.
publication.
I think everything I
So,
stole got
we
stolen.
haven't used much out of legal publication, and we are gonna have, that's for posting the budget and stuff for the sewer
We're
plant.
already over budget this year on legal publications. We only have a budget of $1,000, and we're at 1215 right now. 500 for the other one, and 2,000 on the other one. So on the water, or on the
Have we used any on the sewer?
general, we're over, we haven't used any on the water fund or on the sewer fund.
Okay. So if we haven't used any, we can use the sewer fund for any publications for the sewer and pull from the other one.
Right?
So do we wanna leave it alone in administration?
Yeah, because you're only over $200 on the one, on the general, but, you haven't used anything on the other ones.
Okay.
And one's at 500 and the other one's set at 2,000, so you still have $2,300 to use.
Okay, and then phone. So I know that the phone got changed to ION because it's an internet phone, and it got away from TDS. That's something we could shop around, because there was somebody there, somebody did reach out to us, was it ION that reached out to us? To to see if we can get a cheaper package there, so that's something we can look at changing. His phones we gotta have. But I still don't, so, 2,500, right?
Looks good to me.
Okay,
You keep looking at the wrong one.
what do you mean? I'm looking at last year's.
You're looking at last year's.
Sorry,
I'm like, we've changed it to 21-25
okay,
on that one, and we used 1,200 out of that one, and then,
but we still have a few months to go.
right.
But we're over halfway through the year.
And we are under on both of the other ones as well,
Okay.
so we should be,
Leave it alone.
leave it. I mean, you can take it back up to 2,500 to be safe, but then you're gonna have to flip it on your other ones.
Thoughts?
If it's good, you know, I do wanna, I think we did a really good job last year, and I do wanna, obviously always keep the budget down low, but, you know, if, anytime we're within a couple $100, I'm gonna.
I think it's gonna balance kind of
Yeah.
pretty well out, is what I see on the phone.
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
So, meeting and travel, 1,400, and we've used 1,800. What have we used on the other ones?
We have not used anything out of the water fund or the
And how much
sewer.
are
They're
those ones?
the water fund is sitting at $1,400, and the sewer fund is sitting at 1,400. We've used 123 out of that one.
Do you guys have any more conferences coming up this year?
We have one in September.
Okay,
Well, see, the big thing is this last year, we sent City of Melva down, and that took it, and then Cheyenne's done some training, so that's part of that, right? Did you do some training?
I just went to that Moscow conference, but
But
it
you haven't
was
traveled
like,
anywhere.
No.
that's in September.
yeah, I believe she has a conference in
In
September.
So that's what that 1,800 is right there, probably then, is when City of Melva, and then you guys did do one, or didn't?
I did go to Boise in March.
And
Okay,
I don't,
so
I
that's
don't
part of
think
that.
that's reflected in that
Yeah, I don't think it is
because,
either because.
yeah, because with him using the credit card for everything, I don't think it has been input into Casell yet to reflect that.
Well, we had a budget last year of 11,000, we dropped it down to 1,400, which I think is completely, I think it needs to go up. My personal thought is like $3,000, because you are gonna have other trainings that come up.
How often do you have a training?
I will just say, the state rate for rooms used to be 125. This time it was just a little over 200 a night. So
That
that was
eats up
over
a chunk.
600 for rooms, just.
And
for
that's
one
just
night.
your room, that doesn't consider your gas or
Right.
anything.
When we do the meeting tonight, Nick's gonna talk about the LCCU credit cards. So the city council is free while we're having budget discussions to talk about what is acceptable and how much money we can spend on our travel, like our per diem, per day, meals, all of that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
That's
we need
totally
to-
in your,
I think that we should probably consider coming up with a travel policy, like at the mill, they had one.
I would feel more comfortable also if you guys set a guideline, because if it just would protect everybody.
Guideline in writing, not just.
Yeah, we'll should create a policy, yeah.
Yeah, now that Hooters is closed.
Yeah, that's right.
Did?
Dang it.
I don't wanna go.
This is right.
So we do have, is that conference one that you and Joe are both gonna go to? September?
If we can, if Frank is mended,
I think Frank has to go because he has to have his,
or if Frank
he'd get
is
his
still.
water's credit, so.
If I get my water too before September, then he doesn't have to go. But if I'm unable to do that, which we talked about getting my CDL still, well,
Water's more important.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, we can see.
Okay.
But
You got any of yours yet?
Well, I think raising the meeting and travel, like to, when you said 3,000 is a good idea.
We can go a little lower if you guys want.
I think we did such a great job last year, I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't wanna nickel and dime.
Right.
Ready to sign in, please?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 3,000?
Yep.
But the policy's a really good idea, and have it like spelled out with like
Let me get her.
Yep.
a table and this.
Yeah, that's what they did at the mill, I can see if I can get a copy of kinda how it looked, and we can use that as a
yeah, we're
template.
just,
And then like every year do like an update by percentage.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Dues
Oh,
is
really?
also for some of our other things that we have.
It's just no fun.
And that one we have 2,000, we've already used
It's like when you're old.
general
insurance. I believe that's like, I would assume, not like, not medical insurance, it's probably like our ICRIM stuff.
So what's really weird about that one is, in 23-24, we used $9,000. Wonder what that was for.
And it all says zero.
What was that?
I believe didn't we have, exploded water line, we had some tort claims. I know we did have something at one point.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what year was it. You were on the council.
I wasn't here, I don't think, at that time.
Oh,
I don't remember. Well, you'd have been here in 23,
yeah.
so, 2 years ago.
That's when we had tort.
No, I'm saying that's when we used $9,000.
I remember we had some tort claims from a blown water line where it blew up some water heaters and some other
Oh,
stuff.
yes, for Janet Wampy
And,
and Mark Burrows.
yeah, Mike Burrows,
Mike Burrows.
yeah.
But
I don't remember what year that was. I thought you were here for
Could have
that
been
one.
23,
I
that
don't
sounds about
remember
right,
in that though.
yeah.
So we need to,
So, well, we haven't used anything on that right now, it said 4,200 on one and 4,200 on the other.
So my suggestion with the way things are right now, what's going on,
And
is keep it the same.
Yeah, that one looks fine.
Okay. Avista, I think power's only gonna go up.
Yeah, we've already used 3/4 of that budget, and we're only 5 months in. I guess we're 7 months in, sorry.
Right.
yeah, we'll be ready. Okay. Okay.
So do we wanna leave it or raise it, or?
Fourth grand enough this for this year?
Well, we have $8,300 on the sewer fund, and we haven't even spent close to that, so there's enough in that one. And we have $21,000 in the water fund, and we've only used 12, so I think we're kind of good. The only one we're not is general, and it's kind of low. And it's sitting at 4, and we've used 26.
Building and house.
No, it's Avista.
Avista.
So that is, if you actually do, that's 26, 47, that's 530.
7, 5 by 7,
That's.
or
so you have
8 actually, yeah, sorry. They have October, November, December.
47 divided by 8, 330 a month, and we got 5 months left. 1,600, 1,700 additional for what we got on there. So about 40, if we go at the current ratio, whatever, it's about $4,400.
So we could raise it in the general and lower it in the water and the sewer.
So you wanna go 4,500?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's gonna go up, so if we're at 4,400 for this year, why not raise it to 5 in case something happens?
I think that's great.
It's one of
Quit
those,
agreeing with me, Mark.
Watch out, do you want some?
Yeah, what do you want?
You to do the budget?
I'm working on it.
and then reduce the 21.
Well, we can maybe when we
When we
get
get
there.
there.
Yeah, when we get there.
So,
It's just easier, like last year when we did this, it's easier to be able to go back through and say, okay, where are we at, so we kind of know where we're at balance-wise.
then we got building repairs. We're using some of the building repairs funds, I don't think they've actually come out of this yet, but we're doing that for the locks we're putting in, and, there was something
The
else.
gutters.
The gutters, we're looking at gutters for, we'll have building repairs and other things, so this is mostly just for, I would say the administration would fall for council, chambers, and city hall.
And electrical, cause that'll
Electrical.
probably come out of building and repair.
Yeah, cause we're gonna have to add some
Oh.
electrical for the new computer and the new camera and everything.
So gutters will come out of this?
Well, gutters will probably come out of, parts for some of the gutters, and then streets or,
Public safety,
Public-
fire department.
yeah, public safety for Clifford's
But
gutters.
this hasn't been updated yet, then you don't think?
Well, we just
We're
spent the
getting
money.
bids,
Oh, we
Yeah.
just spent.
We
Okay.
just spent the money on the locks, and we're just getting bids on the
Do you
gutters.
know how much has been spent then? Do you have any idea?
What were those locks, Joe? I think they were
A lot.
1,800.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming out of this cement.
Yeah.
Yes, this come out the correct.
Then what, for next year, what, I mean, the lots will be replaced, the gutters will
But
be
you can't
bought, so.
anticipate
No.
that kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
That's what's
Like,
hard.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so
What
we
other
won't have
projects?
those,
Well, I would like city council to also help us come up with projects for buildings and stuff. The library's gonna be empty,
Mhm.
that's gonna be a whopper if you guys decide to take that on, cause it needs electrical and
and we will,
braces.
and currently we give $1,000 a month towards the library, so we'll be able to take that and just add that to, like, whatever we wanna do for updating the library if we so choose.
I mean, we did get new windows at the water plant last year, the year before, and that was brilliant, but, you know, you can think about new windows, new heating, I mean, all that kind of stuff can all be reinvested back into our buildings, so.
You know, I wouldn't hurt my feelings if we had a list like that, cause I do think new administration, there's a lot of opportunities here, and they're gonna involve upgrading things and stuff, so.
Well, that's part of the wish list that you
Yeah.
mentioned, is
Yeah.
that way we kind of have an idea, because we're not here for the day-to-day operations.
Right.
I'd love to see that on the wish list.
Okay.
Do we wanna,
So you put a question mark on that one and review it next month and see if they have a wish list by then?
yep. And do we want to, we're at 6:57, so,
Can we get to one more real quick?
yes,
The trail, where it says,
where's it, oh,
it says
10.
2,500 budgeted, but 0 spent. I'm wondering if Joe and I, or me and Cindy and Cheyenne or whatever, maybe we're not coding that correctly. Maybe we're not allocating money to the trail, because we have worked on the trail.
Okay,
We do spray the trail,
Right.
we trim.
all that stuff,
And
the
I-
spray and everything can come out of that trail fund.
I didn't realize this is admin and it's in the trail, so I'm wondering if maybe we goofed up and didn't know to use that money in that way. I'm just saying.
So we need to add a budget back to trail then.
Well, we
Yes,
have,
it
Well,
has
it
a
has a
budget.
2,500, right?
It has
well,
a budget,
But what it says
it's
is
0.
but we haven't used it, it's because we haven't
So I-
allocated.
We don't have a budget for 24,
Yeah, there's
25,
no-
so we'll have to add one for
Yeah.
25, 26.
Yeah,
Oh, right, I went back to 0. Okay, that's what I'm saying, I
Right.
don't know. You guys can think about it.
so we can put a question mark by
I
that.
don't know why it was 0
Where,
before.
where did we come up with that number a couple years ago? 25?
I think it was set like that for a long time, because we never had any input in it.
Right,
Yeah, I think,
I mean, it also says 0 for actual for the 23-24 year,
Yeah,
so.
but it wasn't being taken out of.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It
Yeah,
was set,
well,
but
actually, we
not-
weren't, before, there was another person sort of managing that situation. We paid for spray,
Is it possible to get an estimate for next time about what you guys think it would be?
it could be labor, if you want to charge like labor to the trail, or if you actually want, like material things, which there aren't that many material things, you know. Snow plowing, maybe we plowed snow on it, we, you know.
It's more of a labor thing than it is
Yes.
anything
right,
else.
we got sprays and stuff.
Yeah, but we only spray it once a year though, so it's not a whole bunch, you know.
But anyway, yeah, just.
Roundup, yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Oh, that's good.
Left, it said 0, and I'm like, maybe we're not taking money out of it like we should have.
Okay, so we're going to end the budget workshop at 6:59 and start the general meeting. Call to order the general meeting. We all stand for the pledge of allegiance. Now behind us.
Oh.
Everybody ready? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Todd is, he said that we could call him, so we're gonna call him so he can be here by phone. As we're looking over the minutes and the bills, I did want to update everybody as to why Todd's bill is over $6,800. Judy Fuller has filed a tort claim against the city. She has, are you calling him?
yeah, I gotta get his number. Go ahead.
She has had it served to the city, the same tort claim 8 times. Judy Scabo has requested some records requests, and we have the lawsuit with Liberty Concrete. And he has been actively enforcing our city ordinances, so we did talk about why that was so expensive. You there, Todd?
I'm
here.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. So I just let everybody know why your bill is so expensive. If you could update us on anything else. I talked about the tort claim that was filed by Ms. Fuller. Same one 8 times, or served to us same one 8 times, and the records request from Judy Scabo, the lawsuit with not La Briere, the Liberty Concrete, and the active work you're doing on enforcing our ordinances.
That accounts for a lot of it. As you all know, when I started, one of the things that we were addressed with was the need to enforce the nuisance ordinances and try to get things moving in the right direction on some of the problems in the city. Well, so we've been working on that. It is taken, and my tip goes to Cheyenne for doing tremendous work in finding a rather large volume of records relating to Ed Gross's place. And so there's been a lot of work in researching that, getting a letter out to Mr. Gross close and trying to move that forward. Unfortunately, the ability to move that forward has been hampered over the months by the number of emails and demands from Ms. Scabo. As she keeps demanding additional records and additional information, every time she does that, it pulls either the clerk or myself off of that project of getting the enforcement of that, getting the zoning organized, the zone research done, and the enforcement of that done. So her requests have twice caused, and I say twice, in 2 ways, delayed and caused problems for the city, and that it's we're having to spend time dealing with public records requests and long emails, as well as then having to pick back up and try to move forward on a project that is really of a higher priority, but the law doesn't allow us to just delay on the public records requests, so it forces a delay in the enforcement of the nuisance ordinances and trying to resolve that issue with Mr. Grossclose. Additionally, there have been further discussions with Mr. Smith's attorney in Boise about the Smith addition and the validation of roads. So that has taken additional time. So there's 4 or 5 different things here that have really demanded a lot of time, and therefore it has increased the bill. I'm hoping that as we get some more enforcement done, as we get some more, as I can move forward further with a gross close, perhaps we can cut down on some of the demands for public records from Ms. Scabo. Ms. Fuller has sold up now that she has an attorney, although he hasn't proceeded any further at this point. That claim has, by the way, been turned over to iPrint, and we are dealing with that. We can talk more about that in executive session. But there were a number of issues that were kind of percolating, and were all being pushed to the fore about the same time. I think we're getting them handled, and hopefully that we're going to be able to see the bills go back down. Any questions for me?
No. I appreciate everything you're doing, though.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
You bet. You need me for anything else then, Mayor?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, I was going to say I can sit on and listen to the rest of the meeting or get off, whichever is going to be easier for you. Whichever you prefer.
I mean, we're discussing reducing bills, I would.
Yeah. I think we're good, Todd, thanks.
Good bill for tonight then.
I've got you on speed dial if we need to.
Fair enough, thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks, Todd.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So then we have a bunch of minutes and bills to approve.
So I kind of went through the minutes earlier, so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from March 3rd, special meeting, March 11th, regular meeting, March 13th, special meeting, March 27th, special meeting, and April 8th, regular meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Motion passes.
My only question on the bills is why so much fertilizer for the park? Is that for like a 2-year supply?
2-year supply.
That's what I figured.
We saved $350 by doing pallet,
Okay,
and, fertilizer is really expensive
yeah,
everywhere.
yes. Yeah, I figured that's what it was, because I know you've done that in the past.
Yeah, so, I think Cheyenne and Cindy, they can work it so that it carries over into next year, so it won't all hit the budget this year. I think they can, that's been done before, so.
That's my only question.
I was under the impression that the porta potties at the park
Oh,
were paid by the association.
meant to ask, so the porta potty, can we take that away now? Are the games done? Or on the small ball field?
No,
Okay. So,
because T-ball and pitching machine go into the summer.
okay. So it's up to the city council, but Joe replaced the sewer line in the bathrooms, so those are no longer an issue. So you can decide to keep the 2 porta pots by the small ball field, or we can have them taken away. That's up to you guys. It costs what, $268 a month? Is that what it says?
Well, this is $450, but it doesn't say.
Oh, that's a septic pump, so they had to come pump the septic tank, but the actual porta pot is like $268. I saw it on here.
So is the bathrooms in the park, the built ones, are they on sewer or
They're
are
on
they
septic,
on the
so they
septic?
had to be pumped for the beginning of the
I didn't see
season.
it.
But now that the line is fixed and everything is good, they should be fine for a while, a long time now.
Well, did you say that you thought the baseball association paid for the?
It's not on
That's-
here, Justin, it's not on
Right.
here.
Oh, I didn't see it.
That was what I assumed at the last meeting. They were talking about there was a credit on their account and they had it delivered, but I thought, same with, they pay for the one at the school.
Han rental right here.
Oh.
So it's 1162 portable restrooms into the park, $238 a month.
Oh, there it is.
So it's more of a convenience that it's over at the small park now. I mean, people don't always walk, but it's up to everyone, I guess, who, if you want us, now that the bathroom is fixed and if the baseball games are over, if you want to keep it longer or if you want us to get rid of it. It's up to you.
The baseball, that's all seasonal, right? Or we've been keeping Ray around there?
We just been putting it in for the games.
Yeah.
And they said it was a lot handier having those over there freeing for the players. They don't have to go clear to the
Oh,
bathroom,
yeah, that's
clear
all.
across the way.
I like having it over there, and like you said, I think they go through June. The little kids will be playing. And when you're a little kid, that's a long ways to walk. Those poor kids are holding
Yeah,
from
that's
last minute.
fine,
I had just thought that the association paid.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, even at $200 a month, I appreciate it, and it's super convenient.
And one of them is a handicap bathroom.
Joe,
It has a wider door and
Mhm.
everything, so a wheelchair can go
that
in,
little
so
kid at peeing or?
it's just totally up to you guys. I mean, yeah.
Make a
Don't look at
motion.
me.
I'm good with them being there.
I make a motion to accept the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
The moved and seconded, all in favor? Motion passes. Okay. So, Ed Campos, his son, right? His son had come asking about a plaque that he had earned when he was our maintenance man. And it sounds like he's either not doing well or might have passed.
I don't think he's passed, I think he's just getting older, and
And-
his son,
His son had asked if they could have this for him. We didn't even know it existed, so, because he did all of this to get this award, he brought our sewer plant up to the standard that it is today. So I wanted to ask council, because it is kind of a
Heck, yeah.
historical thing, if we wanted him to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Ed's a legend, I remember him. He got in some trouble a couple times.
Okay, I'll make a motion to give your plaque to the family.
Okay, it has been moved, do I have a second?
Second. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, all in favor? Passes. So Cheyenne, can you let him know that it's all his?
okay, perfect.
Okay, I did ask, or Cheyenne asked me about putting this on the agenda, the discussion on how to pay reoccurring bills, Avista, TDS, credit cards, etc. Some of them we've been, have all the bills been signed? They come back by me and I missed it.
Yeah,
Oh.
oh, I got it.
Sorry, I must have turned around when they went by me. Didn't go with them.
No, you had, yeah.
Yeah. So some of the other, like we've been getting late charges on the credit card and some other things, so I thought it might be good to, she did reach out to some other clerks if you wanted to talk to that, Cheyenne.
Yeah, so I spoke with the clerk of Nespers, and she said that they have an ordinance that specifically allows her to pay the recurring bills, like the phone bill, power bill. I think those are the two that she mentioned. And I meant to track down the ordinance and I haven't found it yet, but, so that's how they do it. And then I also spoke with the Deary clerk, and she said that they pay a lot of things on the credit card. And then she just requests council approve the credit card bill. So I don't know if that's technically a correct way to do it, but that's how she does it.
And I did reach out to Todd to ask some questions, because if we do an ordinance, then there has to be a public hearing about it and everything. So he was going to look into, if we decide to do this, possibly a resolution, and he was gonna reach out to some of the cities that he talks about, or does bills for, so that's why I just wanted to kinda have this as a discussion item, so we can be thinking about it, because we definitely wanna not incur late fees if at all possible. So hopefully by our next meeting, he'll have some good information for us. Does anybody have any other thoughts they want to express?
I didn't know this was an issue, so whatever we gotta do to resolve it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was again.
I didn't either until Cheyenne and I were talking about it.
Yeah, our meeting just falls just kind of awkwardly enough in the month that a lot of bills come due, you know, that first week. And so by us not meeting until the second Tuesday, we kind of just miss that cutoff of when people start charging late fees for things.
And I think that's why Genesee does 2 meetings. They do one at the beginning and one at the end, and I think some months we have enough meetings.
Oh my gosh.
So if we could figure out a better way, I'm all for that.
Yeah, 4 in March, that was a lot.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Okay. So we talked about the Wells Fargo credit card last time, and I did some searching to find out if there was a way that the city could have a credit card without every 4 years or 2 years or however long, they'd have to restart over. So Wells Fargo does require a guarantor on it. P1FCU and LCCU do not. So what they do is they take our profit and loss statement or our budget of the last 2 years, and it's actually issued under the city's name. And so then whoever takes over as mayor or council or whatever, it's always just there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, we talked about LCCU, that's why I had them put on there, because they use Visa, and P1FCU uses MasterCard, and I believe Costco won't take a MasterCard credit card, right, Joe?
No,
So that's why yeah. And also Andrew Heimgartner, he was behind you, right? Yeah, he's the one that does all this, so he said he would be extremely happy to help out, his former city. So, what he did ask is that we talk about who needs a credit card that need to reflect in the minutes and how much each person's limit was. And then, once they get the minutes get approved in June, then I will go down and meet with him if that's what we so choose and get the credit card that to go with.
So Justin, Joe, maintenance people, you guys just use it for traveling, you guys use it for parks and stuff like that when you guys do stuff?
Yeah,
What do you use it for?
some places we don't have an account, like Home Depot, so we use a credit card. Costco, Joe's been using his personal credit card and then getting reimbursed by a check because they don't take,
Costco for what though?
we buy our vinegar there, we buy plants, yeah, we end up going to Costco for certain things.
Probably toilet paper stuff in the
For the
bathrooms.
park, yeah, the cleaner, the Lysol, all that stuff, garbage bags.
So you want us to set a budget for them, or I mean a limit for them?
That has to be reflected in the minutes.
In the minutes, yeah.
Yep, if you guys so choose to go forward.
And then Cheyenne, what would you use it for?
Travel probably is when it would come into play for me.
Or if there's some weird thing for the office that we'd like, do we have an
Yeah.
account at Staples? Does anybody know?
No, you have to use your credit card there.
Okay.
We just have a tax-free account.
Amazon. Like, I don't have an Amazon account, but Joe, we've ordered cameras, those cameras last year, those 2 cameras, we've ordered supplies, things from Amazon.
Yeah,
But the card gets paid off monthly, right?
yes.
So, I mean, what do you guys think of like 2,000, or is that too much or not enough?
Well,
What are you
so,
thinking?
Justin, how much was your trip to Boise? This is why I asked it, I wanted to,
Yeah.
Well,
we do.
the room was about like $650, and then the gas was probably $150, and then the meals, like I didn't get out of a dinner less than $32 total. It was about 32 by the time you buy the dinner, and that doesn't include drinks, because drinks aren't included. And then you do a tip, and then it was about $32 a meal. So I say about 1,000 or 1,100 for the trip.
Mhm.
And then if I'd had to buy anything else that month, like when we go, we have to use it at Site 1 for all the sprinkler parts. So all the sprinkler heads, the line, the connections, all that for the park has to go on our credit cards too, because we don't have an account with Site 1. So if I'd had to buy something and go on the trip, I would say 2,000 is probably plenty. 2,500 is way, I mean, I can't imagine you doing that.
I don't know, I spent $1,500 last month, so.
Well, and I just
1,500.
wonder-
1,500.
Yeah,
I
because
just
I was buying
wonder
all
if
this stuff
there's-
because Justin, we were saving his card for his trip.
Well, I just wonder, like,
And that's the good thing about having each maintenance person have one, is if you need to use it or vice versa, or if something happened, she could always book the trip for you and use her card.
but she doesn't have a card yet,
Well,
but
I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
in future use.
But something to also maybe think about is if there's an emergency situation, because I will not, I know that the former administration had a credit card, I do not want one. If I feel that I have to pick up anything for the city or needed to, I will just use my own and seek reimbursement, because I do not want, I don't need one. So,
I would just say that you gotta think it's a 30-day billing cycle, so if you went on a trip, then you bought something, and you bought something all within that month, you might need it at $3,000 or something. That doesn't mean that he's authorized to
right,
purchase a $3,000 item or something, but you need to make sure that you have enough for the.
so one of the things that we can also, we've talked about, or you guys should talk about with Clearwater Paper, when I had a company card, they had a one-time, like you could, when we traveled, we could spend up to like 2,500 at one shot, and then we had a limited X amount, so like you can set a max on how much you can spend at, like you're talking about, at one certain time. That can also be part of the travel policy or whatever, so, yeah, just something to think about.
Okay, motion, I would motion, or to just set a $3,000 limit.
For all three or each or?
For individual, I mean,
Well, I mean, so, like, I don't know, Joe and Justin pick up more maintenance stuff, like Cheyenne's is mostly travel, so we could probably look at lowering hers if you weren't comfortable, or just set them all at the same.
I just set them all the
I
same.
just think it's easier, it's the same.
Well, Justin said 2, you know.
Yeah, so 3's, I mean, just to be safe, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if we have an emergency and we gotta buy something, I mean, it'd be nice to have it if we need it.
Yeah,
We don't have to use it, we just,
yeah.
you know.
I'll second Amanda's motion.
So can we please, specifically say Justin, Joe, and Cheyenne 3,000? Sorry.
I make a motion that Justin, Joe, and Cheyenne's credit card be set with a limit of $3,000
We use
for
LCCU.
LCC.
Were we done discussing it? Did you have any?
Oh.
Did you have anything else?
Sorry, Mark.
No, I'm at 2,000.
Well, that's something that, you know, when you guys talk about like travel policy, you can set that. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Hey, staff reports, Justin.
Okay, so, I wanna say that, I think Nick is doing a really good job as mayor. We've been having staff meetings with him and I and Cheyenne and Joe, and it's been really helpful, to go over things, to have him be involved. I think that's really important. I would like to ask city council I would like to do a review for Joe for 1 year, a performance review. We never really had performance reviews before. We always just had our cost of living in October. But I know, Cheyenne, we want to give her a performance review at 60, 90, whatever many days, and Joe just did his year, so I want to do one for him. So, that's what I'm hoping for. We just had our pre-construction meeting, with Keller and the engineering firm. They're hoping to start construction on July 7th. That was the tentative plan. They'll probably be moving all their equipment in ahead of time before that. And we have a special lock on the gate that they have a key for now, so they can access the site and get in there and start doing stuff. And we got a new sewer and water line put in up on CC Drive yesterday, and it was kind of a tough one, but we did get it done, so that's, my stress over that is much lower now. Joe ordered a new fountain for the park. The old fountain, the motor was burned up and clogged up, and it's been there for a long time, so we chose the middle fountain, which instead of the most expensive one, it does have lights in it. This one has lights, so it should be interesting to see that on at night at the park. If it lasts for a couple of years and needs replaced, we'll stick with the same one, but if it only lasts a year or two, then we'll wind up buying a more expensive one, like an industrial type.
This does have a 3-year warranty on it.
Yeah. So we already talked about the bathrooms. Oh, and then Nick, the mayor, had asked me to get signs out here for council chambers. So I did go to Fast Signs in Lewiston and get those ordered. So one will be over the annex, designating as the annex, and then we have a sandwich board that can go on the sidewalk that will show where to go for the council meetings.
Nice.
We've had a lot of people try and come through the office. Yeah.
So, yeah, and so anyway, other than that, I think that the baseball season was successful. I think the park was in amazing condition. We're doing, John and I are doing well, and we welcome input. If anybody else has any ideas or input. The only other thing I want to mention is the ideas for the grant have all sort of trickled in, and at some point, I think we should get a list together of all those, just so you can see them, we can see them, the citizens can see them, and figure out what's, how to move forward with that, so.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Amanda?
As a baseball mom, I do appreciate all the hard work that goes into the baseball field. It is certainly one of the nicest facilities. One was nothing but dandelions, and then I was like, oh my gosh, ours is beautiful. So thank you for all the hard work. And as baseball, last week I was kind of taken off guard, like unsure. The high school hosted districts at our field, and then charged gate, which maybe I'm under the false impression of who owns the field, who has the rights to legally charge gate, and I was concerned about our citizens being the access to the park and everything. So I'm just gonna be diving into finding the paperwork on the Baseball Association and the agreement with the city to know in the future who has the right to charge gate or not. I want to see it open and free for our citizens, because that's our public park. But maybe they do have the right to charge gate, and I'm not quite sure. So I'm just gonna try to gather all those old paperwork and agreements and see what I find, and then I can bring it.
I was gonna say I would like to see the baseball association and the high school as well. I did reach out to the athletic director, when you talked to me about it, about them charging gate, and they said that it was a state thing, but I feel that we should have updated agreements between the baseball association and the high school as well, because they do utilize our fields, just so we know what's going on, we're protected, they're protected, so that's yeah.
And now that we have lights, I know that they want to bring tournaments in, which is great. It's just, we should all be on the same page. We should agree on if there's gonna be gate and everything, be involved in that conversation, so.
Nice one.
Yep, good job, thank you.
I have been told that there's still people driving on the trail. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yep.
So that does need to be addressed again. It was also brought up to my attention that down on the end of State Street, there's still some issues, so I'm sure Todd is probably looking into that one still. Let's say about a year ago, when I was working working, I was recorded unbeknownst to my knowledge, saying that we do not have to respond to public comments, and so I want everyone to be aware that whenever you guys do public comments, that in the book of Robert's Rules of Order, it does state in there that we are advised not to respond to public comments. Feel free to look it up yourself, but I wanted to address that. Tonight is my last meeting. I've been here 9 years. And anyway, so thank you, City of Juliaetta. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Right. Anyway, that's it.
So I did want to thank Wendy for her years of service. Also, just as Justin had brought up, I just want to make sure the council is aware that I don't have the ability to be here every day like the previous administration, but I do weekly staff reports, staff meetings with them. I have done Cheyenne's 30-60, and we will be doing her 90-day review. I'm also implementing the year reviews as well with them. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that as mayor, I am in charge of the staff. So if anybody, public or anything, if you have any concerns with our staff, please bring it to my attention. If you can't get a hold of me, please reach out to the council, and then if the council can let me know, then I will make sure that it gets taken care of. But I do just want to make sure that it's been kind of a rocky start, you know, when I first took over, but I do enjoy the staff meetings with them. I think that it gives me a lot of knowledge so that I kind of know what goes on in our city so that I can better serve you guys and our city. So I just want to make sure that everybody was aware. And if you have anything that you need to bring up and you don't have the time, just shoot me a message and I can bring it up to them. And like I said, I do weekly with them, and they always call me if they need something. And then every other week I sign everybody's paycheck and make sure the bills are paid. So I think, even though I can't be here, I think it's working well. Also, so with the audit and stuff coming up, we did have a few things that neglected to get done for the last few months of last year. So Cindy is currently working on getting the audit tied up. I did talk to Hayden Ross today, and we are moving forward with that audit. And she is agreed. I did ask her to stay on at least through the end of May to help with the audit and some training for Cheyenne. We are also working out some training with Cassell for Cheyenne, and I did reach out to a previous treasurer that was before Bonnie. I know were you here with Deborah, Eric?
Yes.
Yeah, she does live in southern Idaho, but if, you know, we need some extra training because I know Cindy's tied up with audit stuff, but if we need some extra training or something, she said that she might be willing to come up and look at that, and that's something we can talk about in the future. But I did reach out to her, just kind of looking for some training opportunities so that we can get Cheyenne trained up and so that she can, you know, assume her full-on role. The camera, we did get that figured out. It will be mounted just behind the podium on the ceiling, and we will be using the computer. Will be tucked behind the TV, and the TV will be our monitor. And Eric, I might ask you about, they had said some YouTube one that will automatically upload it to YouTube.
There is, I don't know how to do that.
Okay. So I wanted to get your opinion on what the best option was for that, because I know that you've been graceful enough to record our meetings, and I appreciate that. And hopefully next month we should be done. So our meetings will be moving to a YouTube platform so that everybody can see them as well. And we will be having our own camera to control them. So I do want to thank Eric for those, and yeah, I think that's all I got.
I got a few things. One is I want to thank the mayor in Cheyenne for the messaging in the what's happening about the trail and our city streets. It's bad, you know, and some deputy sheriffs said, I don't think they understand the commitment that we have made to enforcing ordinances. That one was in the what's happening, and I'm grateful there's a sheriff deputy here to hear this, because we do want that to stop. We don't want, two things, and I had a great discussion with a deputy recently about this. Number one is, we don't want a couple people ruining it for everybody else, and that's happening. And the other thing is, we don't want to be choosing people who are peaceful and obey the law, and choose people that break the law over those people. And that's how it kind of feels when, you know, the same ordinances are violated over and over. So if we could, you know, I would just ask the sheriff's deputies to just give us a little help on this, and we'll get it taken care of. We won't have to do anything forever. The second thing I wanted to talk about real fast was about the sewer. I was at the sewer meeting as well. And, you know, I love getting updates from Justin. I will tell you from my impression, I loved watching Stillman hold court. We have the best team we possibly could ever have. We're in the best shape we could be. It's gonna be expensive. I mean, we're gonna pay out the nose for it, but we're in the best shape we could. I see an opportunity to create content about the sewer and educate the public and really just kind of shift their attention to something that's far more important to them really than the drama they've been consuming. And also, I want to say something about Wendy. You know, I'm sad. I didn't believe it till just now, but I ran against Wendy in 2021, and I did really well, but landslide does not quite account for what happened. But if you want to know if Wendy has humility, and I'll tell you she has humility. You saw me tonight, for those of you who are here, with the budget, just weighing on her, okay, what are you coming up with? Like, that's so valuable. She's going to be greatly missed, and I'm saying that sincerely.
Thank you.
As someone who never has to run against her again. I appreciate you very much, Wendy.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I forgot that I did want to apologize for not being able to make it to the pre-construction meeting. I had a budget meeting at work that I could not get out of, so I'm thankful that, you know, and I do apologize for those that I forgot to remind about it, that you guys were able to go and give us some feedback and stuff, and it's gonna be a huge benefit for the city of Juliaetta.
If there's anything I can do to help create content and help anything, I think it's a great opportunity, and the level of knowledge everyone has is really incredible. And also, just let me throw this in there, Joe, Cheyenne, and Justin, and how much respect they get from all these various people. I mean, we're in the best shape we could be.
It's a good team,
Yes,
very good team.
dream team.
Gonna cost a lot of money.
We did get very lucky with the highest amount of grants that Stillman has ever seen, so thankfully a lot of it
That's
is grant money. Yep. Eric?
I would like to thank the staff and the mayor for doing the work on YouTube. That's gonna be really cool to see, you know, have more input, you know, more visible, transparent government, and we can see how stupid we look.
So basically, you're gonna understand how we've been feeling.
I get a taste of my own medicine.
Yes, you do.
I really like the mayor's idea about the weekly meetings, whatever, that's really, really good. I would like the employees and the mayor to keep a wish list of things to get, for grants, because and when you get me Dodd's email, we can go on that.
I'm working on a list for you already.
Cool, that's what I like to hear. I'm a teacher, and so my summers are off, and so I get bored. So, I like grants.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can get some real nice stuff for the city, because we did go to that CETA thing and learned a lot, and yeah, we'll definitely get you in contact with the right people.
Cool, thank you. That's it.
Diane?
Well, I just wanted to say that I also appreciate the weekly staff meetings. I know, especially with the weather getting nicer, I don't see Justin and Joe as much as I did previous months. It gets lonely in there, so it's nice to have someone to talk to. And it helps me out too, because, you know, some days I don't get to see them and touch base, so I kind of learn things alongside with you. And then I want to shout out Joe. He's been working so hard with trying to get the locks set up, and I know he's kind of ran into some roadblocks with it, but he's working hard on it, so I appreciate that, because I did not want to do it, so I appreciate it. And yeah, nothing too exciting going on the clerk side. I got utility bills out at the end of the month successfully. I only had a couple come back with no address on them. But I learned something new every day, that's for sure. People, you know, calling with questions. It's been great, because it helps me figure out who I need to get in contact with to, you know, figure out an answer to their questions. So that's been really good. On the treasurer side, I've been working with Cindy when she's able to come in. And I wish she was here tonight, because I truly appreciate everything that she's done.
I think she needs a big pat on the back for what she's been
She
doing.
has been incredible, and she's been so patient with me, and I really appreciate that. She's been working so hard on getting everything in order for the audit, because she understands how important it is to get that going. It has slowed down the training aspect with her on my end for sure, but again, you know, I think everyone acknowledges that the audit is really high on that priority list. So we're getting that going, and training's been going good. You know, like I said, just a little bit slower lately with other things going on, but yep, any hours I can get with Cindy, I appreciate it. So thank you guys for allowing her to stick around and help and all of that, because she's been just absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know of anyone else necessarily who could come in and offer the knowledge that she has.
I agree.
It's very,
I agree.
Well, and she did part of that year for the audit and stuff, so it's, you know, and she's fresh with it.
Mhm.
And it's no disrespect to Cindy, the only reason I reached out to Deborah is to try and get, like, if Deborah is cheaper than some of the Cassell training, cause, you know, Cindy got some Cassell training, like if there's a way that we can better serve you, to give you what you need to better support the city is kind of what I was, yeah.
Absolutely.
If
Cindy's
she's not
definitely.
available.
Yeah.
If Cindy's not available, so.
If Cindy's not available.
Yeah, any resources, I mean, yeah, I think the more the merrier with it, so
Cause
absolutely, I
we've
appreciate it.
definitely had some ups and downs with the clerk and treasurer, and we wanna do what we can to kind of stabilize everything
And retain you.
and retain, yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it, thank you.
Clifford?
I don't have anything except maybe the credit cards. If I actually need to use a credit card, do I have the council's permission to use Cheyenne's card?
Well, I know in the past that,
Well, I really,
Mike-
I don't want a card.
right,
He wants my
Yeah.
card.
Well, there's a lot of places that we do not have accounts with. And I really hate for it coming out of my pocket. I donate way too much money as it is. So if something that happened to come up, it would be all right to use her credit card?
Maybe we table that.
Cause I get tired of using my own. 'Cause I
Well,
don't
there
get-
is a solution. so
I don't get
it's not
reimbursed.
realistic to do something, because, you know, again, I didn't know you didn't have one, I assumed you did.
I don't. I did have, but it was,
see, Mike had one that I.
Yeah, Mike
none
had
of us
one,
knew Mike
and then
had
it
one.
got
Mike
handed to
had one
me.
Until we went to
and it,
do all the accounts.
it's not
stuff.
legally,
Yeah,
yeah,
So then put it on the agenda for next month.
and I don't want a credit card.
Then what's your issue?
Well, if I need one, I'm getting tired of using my money.
so what's
Well,
your
you get
issue with
reimbursed.
having one?
No, I don't get reimbursed.
Why don't you? Why don't you see
Cause
the
I just
receipts
don't
and get
turn it
reimbursed?
in.
Well, it's your fault then.
Well, anyway.
Cliff, as much as I love this current system, I do think we should think about getting you a card.
I was gonna say, what's your issue with not having one?
You know,
Just curious.
Well, 99% of the time I don't need one. I mean, I really don't need one, but there are occasions, not very many occasions, that I need a card.
So when these occasions, is it something online, or is it something?
Right,
So it's fire department.
right.
So our maintenance guy, Joe, is also what are you there?
We don't know yet.
Yeah. It changes daily.
He's still on probation.
Either way, there might be a runaround with him to be able to use his card
If
for
we
these
could
fire
use-
department and city.
Well, it really wouldn't matter if they all had the same limit. It wouldn't, I mean, they're all connected.
Right. But with him being city and fire, it also almost make more sense rather than Cheyenne.
Well,
As
yeah.
far as like,
It
you
do-
have
yeah,
to put it down on paper.
Let's put it this way. If I could use a credit card from one of the three.
Yeah, well, put it on the agenda for next month.
If you're nice.
Anything else,
All right,
Clifford?
figure it out. No, that's it.
Mr. Dodge?
Only thing I have is we're still kind of working on this cleanup down the railroad street. I got some more done this last week, and then I want to try to finish down at the park. I just been kind of working on that. If I have a few extra minutes, I go down and do one of those too if I have. So that's kind of been a Friday project because we try not to tear anything up on Friday, so we don't have to work through the weekend. So.
Can you talk to the door locks a little bit that you've been diligently working on?
I spent most of the day today trying to figure out the programming on that. It's not a very easy program to figure out. I've got it pretty well figured out now. I'm gonna have to make a phone call on probably tomorrow or the next day to find out how to. I got them so that when you put your code in, like Cheyenne, she put her code in and it'll unlock the door from 8 when she walks through the door to like noon, and it automatically locks at noon. But I got to make sure that I know how to, if she has to put a code in to lock the door again, if she just comes in like on a day off, like if we have a holiday, she comes in, wants to get something and then leaves again, she can make sure the door locks again. That's
So, what I would suggest doing on that is giving her a kind of a separate card, because the code to doing that's kind of the master code. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then give her a personal code.
Well, she has her personal code, and that personal code will actually open the door. Yeah, I got
So
it.
give the master one that allows her to do that, and then also give her a personal code.
Yeah. We'll have to give her two
What the
codes.
council should be getting for here is each get a personal.
That's what you
code.
guys have at the
Yeah,
community center.
yeah, that's what I would do. Because that way, because when you do it that way, it'll automatically lock every time you close the door.
Yeah. The thing is you can't have it that way when she's here because we gotta have it open from 7.
Well, that's why I think he's saying
You'd
give
use
her
the
two
master.
Two
codes.
codes.
The master code and then her
The master
personal
code she types in will keep it unlocked, but if she just runs in for something, she can type in her personal code and then it will just lock.
Yeah, we'll have to just give her 2 different codes.
Right,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just didn't want to do that to her.
That's the easiest way to do those.
Yeah.
That works.
Because I just didn't know if you could open it and then push and like the code and then it locks itself or something.
No.
I just haven't seen it in the pamphlet, so but
Yeah, you have
then
to-
I'm gonna set the one up back here so that if any of you guys can come and go at any time for here. But on Tuesdays it'll unlock when you whoever puts their code in first, it'll unlock and then automatically locks back at 8. So it'll stay unlocked for the whole city council, then it automatically locks by itself. Because usually we're here till at least 8.
That might be changing.
Well,
We're gonna start speeding through these meetings.
Well, moving on then.
Anything else, Joe?
it's really easy to change people, take people off, add people really to that program. Now that I got it figured out. So.
Okay.
I have one more thing that I just remembered. Several people have commented on the slump across the street from the bar that's occurring in the highway. I don't know, when you're driving and
I noticed.
so Joe originally thought it was a leak. We called the Idaho Water. They brought their leak detection equipment down. They did not hear or observe a water leak. But it's getting worse. And so I told the citizens that I'll have to call the Idaho Department of Transportation and we may have to replace the water line to the bar, which would mean closing the highway. So it's a big deal. It's just
We might have to just fix a section right
and
there.
section. Anyway, just so everybody knows in town, and we know there's a slump there, we're working on it, and we don't know what the solution is just yet.
You know, you guys have always been after them to lower the speed limit.
Right. Self-made speed bump. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. We'll now open it up to public comment. Anybody got any public comment?
I do.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to say, Wendy, you're gonna be greatly missed. You've been an asset to this council. And I wanna tell everybody on this council, you're doing an amazing job. Even with all of the changes and all of the staffing and in council members in the last, I don't know, let's just say since August, everything that you guys are going through, it's amazing that you've stood up as well as you have. And I just wanted to let you know I appreciate it, and I'm sure that the city will come out of this whole tort thing triumphant, and I just really appreciate everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
I just had one thing, just reference the ordinances of most concern, just can you clarify that for me so I can take it back to the office and tell everybody, hey, here's what Juliaetta's most concerned about with some of those nuisance things. Pretty sure I know which ones they are, dog at large and some of those nuisance junk cars, but
Yeah.
anything else, concern or particular areas we can focus on to help you guys out with that.
I appreciate that, yeah. So we put out in the what's happening about, people driving on the trail, Wendy mentioned it,
Yep.
motorized vehicles.
Old mayor,
I'm
not to
gonna-
call anybody out.
It's her last night, so she's doing and then up and down our city streets, I mean, people can drive, and I love how you guys worded it. It's like just for, as far as like if people are gonna drive side by sides and they're gonna drive licensed vehicles, we're hoping, right? But if you're in one area all the time, you're creating a nuisance. That's what's happening next. And so I think people should have to validate that for you guys, but in my opinion is if it's in our ordinances and we can validate it, it's, you know, I would like to see it enforced, and again, that's something we communicated, to the public recently. And we see a lot of comments about that, like on social media, and I hear it a lot. Like people want kids to have fun, but they don't want them to be reckless, and they don't want to have a nuisance. They don't want it to be a nuisance, so.
We've definitely seen a lot of, unlicensed ATVs roaming around the streets. And I get that, but there's also other vehicles that, if you go up 3rd Street, if you ever want to park in my driveway by my shop, you will catch a lot. Because I feel like some people feel they have to be doing 100 to make it up that hill. And that's right by the school, and we do get a lot of, you know, students and people that go up there, so that's definitely a hot area is on 3rd Street.
In mine.
4th Street.
I get a
4th
lot on
Street,
mine, on
yeah.
Holland and Fifth.
Yeah, all over town, basically.
No, because they come screaming up by my house on those 4-wheelers.
No offense, but Railroad Street is.
Oh, come on.
That's where, but you know, and then I'm grateful. And one of the things that I talked to the deputy recently was like, well, have them go up to the other streets so more people can complain. Fair is fair, right? So, you know, that's my big thing right now. And then I want to say this too, and again, I cannot say how much I appreciate you know, addressing this. I've never seen more or bigger snakes on our trail than this year. Big snakes. So when people come driving, and what was it, a couple years ago, a gal was bit by a rattlesnake down there. When people come barreling down on a motorcycle or a side-by-side or a stray dog runs up to you and you step off that trail, you're stepping into a snake pit. And I don't want to see our residents have to do that, but so those are the big ones right now, I would say.
Make some signs, no
Public
snakes.
complaint would be, the end of State Street, that issue there, I was told.
That end of State Street.
Yeah, that end, the gentleman has been working in his vehicle with his rear end hanging out and indecent exposure, so that's kind of being done on purpose, they feel, so that's an issue area. Huh?
Was it more than just that one time?
Been a couple times, yeah. I was given a visual that I
saw
watched.
it.
Yeah. So, anyway.
It's your last night, Winnie, let it out.
I do want to thank you for coming down and attending these meetings and, you know, Sheriff Ritchie allowing people to come down. Because it does, I know that the last 2 meetings we've asked the deputy to be here, and they've been calm meetings, because we have had some very heated meetings, but we do appreciate your presence, and you guys are always welcome at our council meetings, so thank you for coming down.
No problem. Any other concerns, whether nuisance ordinance or not, for the sheriff's office to know about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Cool.
It's like working pretty hard.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comments? Okay, we will now close the public comments. Oh,
Can I say one thing, since you brought up the newsletter? So, I just have to say, with your announcement, Nick, so when I drafted that, the title of it was, there's a new sheriff, and it was crossed out, and then said mayor in town.
oh, I've had some people ask me
I
if I was the
know.
sheriff was there.
So I want you to know, when I sent that off to them, I had sheriff crossed out, and then they didn't put it that way in the newsletter, so, nobody said anything to me because everyone's too nice. But I just wanted to say that on camera, that, that's what it's supposed to be, but it's not how it came out, so, anyway.
I loved it, I might admit, Eric and I high-fived when we saw that. Yes.
Okay, my last night here, I would like to adjourn. Make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded?
We're out.
I would like one more picture for Facebook of
Oh,
Wendy's
we
last
did one
meeting.
last month.
Yeah, but it's your last meeting,
But that didn't go on Facebook. It didn't go on Facebook.
right? So we gotta put it on there, and just thanking you for your years of service.
Oh, yeah, you'll be.
Okay, go ahead and hang up. Oh, all in favor?
Oh. 7:50.
Motion passes, 7:50. Okay, one quick picture and then you're
We
free
should
to
have
go.
just refused it, that way she can't leave. Her sentence is not up.
You're right.